All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the Appellate CTRAC electronic filing portal, also known as CTIF attorney training. My name is Amanda Pacheco, and I work with the Wyoming Judicial Branch in supporting the Wyoming Supreme Court and their end users in the CTRAC Enterprise application. In today's training, we'll walk through the e-filing portal and provide a live demonstration of the filing on a case. We'll cover registration, what to expect in the new system, the filing process, and how to use the portal to manage your cases beginning on Monday. The system will go live on Monday, February 9th at 8 a.m. As a reminder, we have asked all the attorneys to submit their filings by Friday the 6th, so this Friday by 5 p.m. The system will be offline over the weekend while we migrate into the new system that we will be showing you today. Before we get started, I wanted to note that this is the same system that you're using now. It's just an upgraded version with new features, a refreshed look, and an improved overall experience on your side. Joining us today, we also have Shauna Getz. She is the clerk of the Supreme Court. She will be presenting a live demonstration on how to e-file a case after here shortly, and then we will open the floor for discussions and questions. All right, so I am just going to share my screen. Okay. All right, so starting with the new portal URL. So what you're seeing on the screen is the new e-filing portal, and it is also the new public portal for CTRAC Enterprise for the e-filing portal. Starting with the new URL, this can be found at the Wyoming Supreme Court website, and it's also included in the registration guide that we have attached to this meeting. Today I'll be using a development environment, so please don't screenshot this URL up here. This URL will not be the one for Monday. So again, you can get that on the attachment to this meeting, also on the Wyoming Supreme Court website. The e-filing portal and the public portal still use the same URL. The difference is access. So attorneys will register for an account so they can e-file into the system. And a public user will not need to register, but they will be able to log in and to access the URL and to view any public information. So what I have here on the screen now is what it would look like from a public's perspective. So I don't have anything, I don't have an account logged in over here on the top right-hand corner. And then you can see that I can see some announcements on the main screen. And then over here on my left-hand navigation is where, as a public user, I can do a case search, party search, or document search. And so they could click here, fill out any information and click search. And that's a little bit of what they would see there. So for the attorney registration piece, I'm actually going to run through that with our guide here. Attorneys will need to re-register for the new portal when this goes live on Monday. So that will be a step that each attorney will need to do. We were not able to migrate those accounts over. So we are asking all attorneys who are filing in the appellate court to re-register. The steps to do that are listed here on this guide. Again, this is also attached to our meeting. Wyoming licensed attorneys will need to create an account with a username. We do highly recommend that you register with your bar email into your portal access. And you can see here that once you navigate to the URL, you will go up to the login and register option, go through the prompts here below. It does use a multi-factor authentication. So each time that you log in, you will need to verify your username with a code through the multi-factor authentication. But you'll get through those steps here, and then you will be greeted to the home screen of your portal account where you can select attorney type. Once you select attorney type, you'll go through and do your address and your contact information. And then the final step will be submitting your bar ID card. Right here, you'll just fill out the basic information, put in your bar ID, upload the file, and then you'll submit that to the clerk's office. Once the clerk's office confirms your account, then they will go ahead and grant that access on your side. All right, returning to the home screen of the portal, I'm going to go ahead and log in as an attorney in my account, in my development account, so you guys can see what this looks like. So I've already completed registration here, and I'm signing into the portal. Here is where that verification will take place. And it's pretty quick, which is nice. Once we verify our code, it will take us to our home screen. So I can see that I'm logged in because up on the right-hand corner, I have my name. And then the left-hand navigation looks a little different than it does for a public user. You can see here where I have a My Work folder. On this main part of the home screen, this will give you general information that the clerk wants to communicate. We can also attach files. So here we have the registration file. Down here, we'll have the attorney manual for you to open and download. And then on the left-hand navigation over here, this stays here as you paginate through each of these screens. So we will start with the user profile. So once I click my name and I go under profile, this allows me to view and manage my settings that are associated with my account. This left-hand navigation here pertains to everything with my account personally. So here I can control my login information. I can change my username, my email address, and my password. That is under login account. Login history is pretty self-explanatory. Names, language preferences here, address and contact information. Payment information and calendar subscriptions are not applicable, so those are not configured to be set up, so you can bypass those. The one here that I want to really point out is this notification setting. So this is the notifications that will pertain to your cases, your filings into your portal, but you can also set them up to your email. So you can see here that we have application, and then you can select what notifications you want sent within this application. When you select these, you'll see those notifications here on the left-hand navigation. But if you want to have email notifications, on Monday, you'll see that there's going to be a second column here that says email, and you can select email notifications as well. So we want to highlight that so you can be notified as things move throughout your case. And then once you select those notifications, you can save that. User access is going to show you what account you have. And then it's also going to allow you to view any other access requests that you might have out there pending. And we'll talk more about requesting access here shortly, but that is where you can view and see what you have out there for a request. All right, so back on the home screen of the e-filing portal, you can see that we have announcements here. We're asking to check this periodically for system updates. Again, this is a dev environment. We don't have anything in here now, but be looking out for that tab. Notifications is where you can see notifications within your cases that you've set up through your user profile. This is what that would look like. So if we see this notification here, you can see that I've opened it. When I click to view it, I get this little box that just kind of tells me what it was and what happened with my filing. Searching the public portal or your attorney portal looks like this. So we have case search, party search, and document search. Case search is pretty self-explanatory. You can come in here and fill out any case information. For the sake of the demo, we'll just say search. And this is what that looks like. It will list the cases, hyperlink to each case for you to go and explore. Party search is the same thing. You can filter down, or we can just say search, and this is what that looks like. That will be searched based off of party. And then document search is the same thing. Again, filter down or search, and then we can view our documents here. So when you click the document, you'll click the view link, and then you're able to see that document in a PDF. Under search, we do have a option for a publication search, as you see here, but we will not be searching publications in the portal come Monday. Opinion searches will still happen on the Wyoming Supreme Court website, so please disregard that. Over here under the My Work tab, we have other individual tabs here. This section is unique to each attorney, and it displays case and filing related information to your workflow. We'll go through each of these tabs so you can kind of get an idea what it looks like. The My Filings tab will show you your case link, your reference number, and anything that you have out there that was filed with the court, and then what that status looks like. So I did an approved, a rejected, and a received, so you can see the difference between each status of each filing. In the portal, if you are wanting to go to your filing, particularly from this screen, you'll want to click your reference number hyperlink. Notice when I click that, it takes me right to my summary. I can see here my case information, my summary, and then my docket entries, and then I can go right to my document here and take a look at that and see what's going on. Also down here for service, I can see that service was rendered on this date and that it was read by the other attorney. Under My Cases, this will display all of your cases that you are counsel of record on. So again, any case that you have will be listed here. My Hearings, this tab is not configured yet. We're recommending for any oral argument hearings that you visit the case in the docket on the case for hearing information. We might have more news coming throughout next week on that. So just be paying attention to your portal for that. My eService received, so this will display the eService notifications through the portal. Again, you'll see that you have your case link, you have your status, your service date, serving party, and your document details here. Again, you could click this hyperlink or this one to view your document. I do want to note that official electronic service is still happening through the email address that is provided by the Wyoming State Bar. So this is more of just a place of tracking. It's not official service here. My Ticklers will display any ticklers that are associated with your case. Again, this helps with tracking important deadlines. You'll see case information, due dates, statuses, and notes within these. And the My Receipts is not applicable, so that can also just be bypassed. Here under the Create option, we have Request Case Access, and we will speak about that here in just a moment. But you can also select New Filing. As attorneys filing into the appellate court, we don't initiate any cases, so we would want to select existing filing and then walk through those steps to see what that looks like. And Shauna is actually going to take the demo from here, and she is going to walk us through case view, creating a filing, and requesting access. So now that I've covered the navigation and tools, Shauna, I'll go ahead and pass this demo over to you. And then when you're done, we will open the floor for questions.
Try this again with the microphone on. Hi, I'm Shauna Getz. I'm the clerk of the Wyoming Supreme Court, and I welcome you to this training. I appreciate your time and investment in learning about our new CTEF appellate system that we have. And we hope that you enjoy it as much as we do. It's not as complicated. It's not overly complicated. It's kind of along the same streamline as our current CTEF version, just has a few more bells and whistles added to it. So I am going to share my screen. And what you're looking at, this is after, if I was an attorney and I have logged in, this is just the general home screen. And what I can do, even if I'm not an attorney on the actual case, if it is a public case, meaning non-confidential, so the same thing applies in this new system as it did in our old legacy CTEF system. I cannot get to a confidential case, no matter if I know the appellant's name or the case number. It's just not going to happen. So what do you do if you need access? you do not need to ask for access through this system over here. That is not for confidential cases. So in that instance, you would just contact the Supreme Court Clerk's office and tell me that you needed to be added to that case. And if we can verify that, we will add you just like we normally do. So in the case of searching for a regular case, non-confidential, I'm going to go in here and I can search for the case number, or I can also search by a party's name as well. So I'm just going to go, and I happen to know that this person is the appellant and the last name is Hughes. So you might recognize this name. It is a current open case. It is a non-confidential case, so I don't mind showing it. So what I just did there, I can see the case number and all of the relevant information and that the case status is currently open. I'll go ahead and click on the case number, and that takes me to the case itself. Here's the docket, when it was actually docketed, and this will reflect real time when we go live next week. The originating court, what type of case it is, and this case status as well, along with the case number and the case caption. Most of the parties will appear here. There's a few cases that have a lot of parties on them, so just a few of the basic parties will be appearing under this list. But you'll be able to see everyone once you go to e-file anything on that case. And as we progress through here, if we continue to scroll down, you see all of your docket entries. The one thing that is different than it is in our current CTRAC is that this appears automatically as this is the last thing that was filed on this case. If you want to go back to the original way that you currently see CTRAC, you can see it like this and work your way down, or you can just keep it the way that it was before, and you'll see the very last thing that was either e-filed or e-served on this case. Here is my parties, and it'll list everyone. And we move over to our ticklers. So the ticklers are in progress. So you won't be seeing as many ticklers as that are currently I'm showing you now. You'll see the ones that are relevant to you, such as when a brief is due, whether hard copies are due, etc., or when the record will be coming in, that type of thing. If a case tickler has been satisfied, they probably won't be here. But again, I'm still working on all of that, and we're refining that even as we speak. I'm going to go over here to this case. This is a different current case. It is open, and this one has something special on it. I wanted to show you a case that had been set for oral argument. So if I go to hearings here, it actually reflects the oral argument and the date that the argument is scheduled for. Please don't pay attention to this time slot. I'm not entirely positive what that is, but the hearing date and time should be correct as of when we go live next week. We're also working on trying to populate this same general information up here in this box. But as we progress to our new live system, we're kind of learning the ins and outs, and that's one of the things that we're still ironing out those details. We go to yet another case here. Here we go. I wanted to go back to this case. So here you'll see that the appellant's reply brief is due, and it should give you the correct due date tickler. Again, this is just for display purposes only, and the relevant information should be up to date by the time we go live. So taking you to this case, I am not an attorney on this case, and you're not precluded from filing just as if you were going to be filing an amicus brief. You can still file on an open case that is non-confidential, even if you're not the attorney of record. What I would do is I would go over here to Actions button. Again, I don't need to request the case access because this is a non-confidential case and it's not necessary. As with our current system, if you were to file a document or a filing on an open case, we update our member, the attorneys that are representing the parties, we update those based on the information on the current filing. So if there were two attorneys on representing the appellant, for example, and only one of your names appears on the actual brief itself, we'll go ahead and remove the other one just to make sure that we have the most up-to-date, accurate information. So I'm going to go ahead and create a filing on this one. And this one, I happen to know, there was a motion to dismiss already filed on it, so I'm not creating anything new that was out of the ordinary on this case. Again, the option to create a new case is unavailable. We don't initiate or docket anything through the Supreme Court clerk's e-filing process. We just do that conventionally. So they all originate through my office. Again, here is the case number of this particular case that I'm going to be, let's make sure that we have the, 279. So that's the case I want to file on. Go ahead and select OK. And I can type in, this is the nice thing about this new system, is you can do a word search. I can just type in motion and I have all of these motions appearing in here. I do a string search, motion to dismiss. Let's see what that does. So motion dismiss, and I know that this one is voluntary with waiver. So I'm just going to select that option and hit continue. Just make sure that I'm verifying what I'm actually filing. The clerk's office can still change this if necessary. This is the summary of my filing, the filing type and reference name, and into what case I'm actually looking for. So now you can see your filing progress. You've started your filing, and now you're going to manage the filing information. So add the filing information, you click into there, and who am I filing it on behalf of? This one happens to be the appellant. I could, because I'm not the attorney of record, I could absolutely add my name, just as if you were doing that in CTEF today. I can add any relevant comments that I need to make, just as if you were filing in CTEF today. You can request emergency or confidential status, although I would prefer that you contact the Supreme Court clerk's office if you are thinking about choosing either one of these options. Okay, and then I can always go back and edit. I'm going to continue to my docket entries. So this is the type of docket entry that I've now created. Okay, and I can choose what date I want. Today's date. There's the document name information. We will have options listed here for you to choose, or you can add the relevant comment. One thing I would like to point out that I am very excited about, so that we don't have any more failed conversions. Our new system will now accept all of these file types. So you're not going to be restricted to just filing a PDF document. Got to add my filing, so at least we know that that works. So I've just added the motion to dismiss, but now I also want to add the additional documentation. and hit continue. Once I've completed everything, then I can say I'm finished. And now I have to go and pick service. So this is a little bit different. Normally, on our current CTRAC version, you would see all of the representing parties and their relevant method of service. So because we're still not in go live status, we don't actually see the email addresses listed here. So we're going to have to improvise. This system requires you to go into every person that is listed and provide a means of service. So I'm just going to go ahead and select Ms. Craig and Mr. Couts. And then I'm going to say those are not being served. I can choose any other service method that I want, including email, conventional, or process server, which is very rarely used. So then you can see the means of method that I chose. I will, however, select that I'm going to e-serve Ms. Jones, and I'm going to select that date. So you can see that here. And everybody now up here, you can see that the service step 3 of 4 is now complete. Scroll down and you hit continue to summary. At any point, I can always go back. So scrolling down, you see the case information, the docket entries, my service, and now I'm going to submit filing and send it to the court. Okay, so I've just confirmed that I have submitted it for the clerk's review. At any point, they can reject it or accept it, and then I will get notification of the same. What I wanted to show you over here is while I was within this filing progress on a different case filing, I wanted to show you what it looks like when I have a draft. So I can go back into this particular filing at any time. Say I started it, I got called away, now I can come back into it. I can pick up where I left off. I don't have to restart it all over again. I can also, realizing that maybe I didn't need to file this, I can go ahead and remove the filing as well with a simple click of a button, and now it's gone. So I go back home. And I think that, I mean, that's a lot of information that I just gave you. So just wanted to kind of give you an oversight of what the actual case itself will look like. It does look different than CTRAC, a lot different. It does do a lot more things than CTRAC does. But we're here to help you walk through it and try to understand all of the relevant cases and the displays that you see. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Shauna. So we had some questions in the chat, and I believe we answered them. There was one question that was asked, and that is if we can add staff to the email list. I am not 100% sure on that, so we'll have to follow back up with you guys on that. I just want to say that throughout this process, when we transition into production on Monday, to be watching the home screen of the portal. So we'll keep updates on there to communicate with you all on the portal itself. So do we have any other questions? Or is there anything anybody would like to see demoed? Okay, well, that's an easy group. Oh, we had a question come in.
So I can actually answer that one if you would like.
Yep, sure.
So talking to Mr. Cannon, he talked about John Doe parties. We do not have John Doe parties up here at the Supreme Court. They do not appear on the case caption, and we don't add them as case parties either.
All right, and there is an option to review before submitting in your filing. Shauna, do you still have your draft? Could you share your screen and just show us how we can go back in through my filings and look at that review?
Sure. Let me see if I can share my screen here. So I did get rid of the draft, unfortunately. And here
Okay.
is the existing filing on this one.
Yep, so if this was still in a draft status, Michael, then we would see where it says submitted, it would say draft, and then you would have the option where it says status history to either remove or also make any edits over on the right-hand side of the screen. So yeah, that'll be in your My Filings tab inside of your portal, whether it's a draft, accepted, rejected, or approved filing. Any filing that was started can be found under the My Filings tab, and then you can work that from there. Oh, there's a draft.
There you go.
Yep,
That's
so
what
let's
it looks
click on
like.
that reference number, Shauna, and it'll take us right to the filing, and that's what that will look like. So here you can finish filing or you can remove the filing at that time. Next question is, can you retouch the manual? I'm not finding it. The manual is not out on public yet. So we have the registration guide attached to the meeting. The manual will be posted on the Wyoming Supreme Court website as well as on the portal website for Monday morning. So you all will be able to take that and download that at that time. And this is kind of what it'll look like. I'll share my screen. So we'll have the registration guide attached here, and then if you scroll down, we'll have the attorney e-filing manual attached down here. So that's where you'll be able to find those, and then you can go through and read all the things there. Next question, will you be able to set up multiple MFA accounts similar to how they are? I know that you can set up, I don't know the answer to that. Shauna, do you know the answer to that? If you can do
I do not know.
the
I'm
multiple
not familiar
accounts?
with Pacer.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know that you're only going to want one attorney account associated with the appellate e-filing system, so I wouldn't recommend setting up multiple accounts. You would just want your one associated, so that way the clerk can index the cases correctly and that sort of thing.
And to go off more on what you just said, Amanda, your account that you're creating is tied specifically to your bar number. So you get one account.
Right, thank you. Will all the pleadings information in the record on appeal be available via the website?
So I can answer that one. If you're talking about case pleadings for non-confidential cases, yes, they are available on the website. Just as if you were looking at the case on CTEF today. For non-confidential, you will have to be an attorney on that case in order to access any of those documents.
Yep, and once you're added to the case in the case management system, you'll then see that case populate in your portal and you'll be able to file onto that case.
Any other questions for us? Doesn't appear
Okay.
so. I thank you guys so much for your time. And
Yeah.
you're more than welcome to contact my office at any time with any question, and we will either answer your question outright or we will get the answer for you.
Yeah. Again, we're excited for Go Live. Thank you all for being patient with us during this transition. And just a reminder to get all of your filings in to the Supreme Court before 5 p.m. on Friday. That is this Friday. And then another reminder that these systems will be down, including the opinions on the Supreme Court's website throughout the weekend while we transition into this new system. So thank you all. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.